Hello dear students, we are going to see today the topic laws of motion. I am Chetan Patel, your physics mentor. Welcome you on this video lecture. Let's start. Here we are going to cover some of the points in which it consists of inertial and non-inertial frames of reference, types of forces which are fundamental forces in nature, that is gravitational force, electromagnetic force, strong force and weak force. These are the last two are nuclear forces. And lastly we are going to see the real and pseudo forces, conservative and non-conservative forces. Before that, let us take a brief recap of Newton's laws of motion. Newton's first law states that every object continues its state of rest or state of uniform motion unless and until it is acted upon by external unbalanced force. Second law states that the rate of change of linear momentum is directly proportional to the applied force and it takes place in that direction. And the last law you already know, to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. These forces acts on the different bodies. The first law is also called as the law of inertia. Inertia is the inherent property by which it opposes the change in a state of rest or state of uniform motion. As you are seeing in this picture, the car which is on the back of truck and truck starts to move. As soon as truck starts to move, car remains at its state because it opposes in the change of state and it will get fall down. It is the example of inertia of rest. Second law is generally we formulate up to the high school level, force is equal to mass into acceleration, but the basically this means as shows force, basically it is a rate of change of momentum. This actually comes from force is directly proportional to the rate of change of momentum, that means mv minus mu upon t. If we keep m common, v minus u upon t equals to m into v minus u upon t is nothing but acceleration. But basically it should be treated like this: rate of change of momentum is equals to force. And if there were no Newton's third law, we cannot build the rockets. So this is the example of Newton's third law. To every action there is equal and opposite reaction. The gases that ejecting out from the base of the rocket, it pushes rocket in the upward direction. Now we are going to see the frame of reference, what exactly it is. Generally, frame in which observer is situated, which is that we considered generally as stationary or at rest, or it may be moving with uniform velocity also, and makes his observation, then that set of coordinates generally referred as frame of reference. It is associated with which coordinate system we are using, and we calculate generally positions, time and the event happening in that space and time. So generally we describe all these parameters with physical quantity like position, displacement, distance, velocity, acceleration in that coordinate system. That is particular thing is called as a frame of reference. For example, here you are seeing the one person. Let us suppose that this is A and one person is standing across one of the road, and opposite, that is across the road, person B is standing, and suppose a car is passing in this direction, a red car is passing in this direction with particular velocity v. Then person A will say that the car is passing towards my right, because he is thinking as per his frame of reference. But at the same time the person B will say that the car is traveling towards his left, because person B is thinking as per his frame of reference. So frame of reference is the set of coordinates which are it is decided by your position, observer's positions also, where it is located exactly. So this is about the frame of reference. Frame of reference are is having two types. So where is your position, observer's position, that will decide. For example, suppose one observer which is sitting in the train which is moving, and he is playing with a ball. If he catches the ball in his hand, then he can see the motion of ball is like this. It goes up and comes to in his hand. So in this way, he is playing catching in a train. But suppose the same situation is observed. Suppose this is the window, and from the outside, observer is watching that a person is catching a ball from that window. Then he will observe that at one instant the train goes further, so the path of the ball will be like this. So it depends on the observer where it is located, what is its position, that will decide the result of the observation. So frame of references are categorized in two types. One is called as an inertial frame of reference and another is called as a non-inertial frame of reference. Now let us see what exactly are the inertial frame of reference and non-inertial frame of reference. So the frame of reference in which Newton's first law is valid or it is applicable or it's hold true, that frame of reference is generally called as the inertial frame of reference. We already know that Newton's first law is called as a law of inertia, and means it must be there, acceleration must not be there, means observer must be at rest or it is moving with uniform velocity. So that means no net force is there in that frame of reference. A body will move with a constant velocity or it may have the zero velocity LC. That means there is no acceleration. That means there is no net force or balance force acting on the body. Then such a situation is described in inertial frame of reference, and all the laws of Newton's laws are valid there. This frame of reference is also called as unaccelerated frame of reference or Newtonian or Galilean frame of reference. For example, lift is at rest and lift is moving up and down with constant velocity, and observer is watching that lift or the events in the lift according to him. Then all these parameters counted, observed, velocity, position, displacement, acceleration will be zero there, of course. Then that will be an inertial frame of reference, or a car moving with constant velocity on a straight road. So these observation conducted here will be said to be in inertial frame of reference. Non-inertial frame of reference, if the frame of reference is accelerated, means it is moving with its sets of coordinates are changing with respect to time or with respect to position also. So that said to be a accelerated frame of reference. That is also called as a non-inertial frame of reference, in which Newton's first law is not applicable there or it not hold true. If an object is suffering acceleration, then that frame of reference is not inertial, is called as a non-inertial frame of reference. For example, a car is moving with uniform circular motion. Means here we can see its example. Here it is depicted particularly. Suppose this blue dot is there, one brown dot and black dot is there. Here, as per this blue dot, which is situated As per this brown dot frame of reference, the motion of that black ball is straight line, but if that brown dot is in a rotating frame of reference or accelerated frame of reference, the motion of that object is said to be curve. So in this way, the observations or calculations may be wrong. In order to make the wrong calculations valid or true, we have to make some arrangements, and for that purpose we considered some of the forces acting on that object, and these forces are called as the pseudo forces. Pseudo forces we are going to see in the last part. Let us see before that fundamental forces. It is said that all things happening in the universe are explained with the help of four kind of fundamental forces, and these forces are gravitational force, electromagnetic force, strong nuclear force, and weak nuclear force. Let us see the characteristics of each force. Gravitational force is due to generally the masses of two bodies. It is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance in between them. Its range is infinite, means when distance doesn't matter. Gravitational force always exists between the two masses. It is always attractive in nature. It is one of the weak force because we have already seen this law that force of gravitation is equal to product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance in between them. G is the gravitational constant. It operates on all objects in the universe, and it is almost 10 raised to minus 38 times its magnitude than strong nuclear force. Strong nuclear force is one of the strongest force in nature. As we already seen this law of gravitation, and the value of G is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 SI units between 2 points masses, and its value is so small so that we generally between masses on earth we do not experience or experiences very negligible force. It requires tremendous masses to experience this force of attraction, that is gravitational force, and it is one of the weakest force. Electromagnetic force. When we switch on a button, a fan gets start or light switch on. The force responsible here is the electromagnetic force. Its origin is due to the charges, whether they are stationary or moving charges. It may be attractive or repulsive in nature. And it operates only on charged particles, and it is 10 raised to 36 times stronger than the gravitational force. Strong nuclear force. Strong nuclear force, if you compare the whole classroom as a atom, and if you compare the dimensions of the nucleus, it will be so much smaller than the tip of your pen. So in that small region, even the like charges like protons positively are compactly adjusted. The force responsible which holds those protons, whether although they are like charges, they that can be protons and neutrons are there in the nucleus, they can hold it can hold tightly in the very small space. It operates in the region between the nucleus, that is along the nucleons, and it is a very short range force, nuclear size up to 10 raised to minus 15 meters, that is the femtometer, and it is strongest force in the nature. Weak nuclear force. It also operates within the nucleons, elementary particles like electrons and neutrinos. For example, in radioactive decay, radioactivity is the spontaneous emission of alpha, beta, gamma radiations or particles. The alpha and beta particle that is removed from the atom the weak force is responsible for that, and it is having a very short range, that is 10 raised to minus 16 meters. There is a topic contact force and non-contact forces. If they are physically in contact, the two objects, the force exerted is said to be a contact forces, and there are some non-contact forces which are also called as a field forces: gravitational force, electromagnetic force, electrostatic force. These are the non-contact forces. But frictional force, tension force, normal force, air resistance force, applied force, spring force, all these are the contact forces. Now conservative force. What is meant by conservative force? The force for which work done depends on the starting and the ending point of the motion, not on the part taken, that is called as a conservative force. Means it is not matter that path taken. Suppose if you ask to take a bucket fill of water from ground floor to third floor and calculate the work done, you have to apply the force on that bucket to bring that bucket to third floor. But it doesn't matter whether you bring that bucket with the from lift or from the stairs, the work done will be same. That work will be same. So the force applied on that bucket will be a conservative forces. So gravitational force, electrostatic force, these are the example of conservative forces. That means its work done depend only on the initial and final points. And non-conservative forces are those forces whose work done or kinetic energy depends on the factors like which path has been taken. For example, frictional force. So path by which that object is being moved or displaced, if that is mattering, then the force applied on that object will be non-conservative force. If that part doesn't matter, it depends only on initial and final points or end points, then it will be a conservative force. Already we are seeing that, and that